Hi everybody, I'm Bob Junkie and I'd like to welcome you to our 15-minute webinar series. This particular webinar will focus on the huge changes that we've seen in the way that many B2B buyers now buy and what we believe your salespeople have to do as a result. In fact, to tee things up, in the past, although B2B buyers certainly understood their business, they generally did not know how our solutions could help them out. The net was that traditional solution selling was born, where we found a buyer's pain and turned it into the vision of a solution. And although that continues to work really well today with a fairly large population of buyers, there has emerged another type of buyer. And depending on the study that you read, about 55% of the B2B buyers out there today could be in this population. These buyers use the internet and social media to go through most of their buying decision-making process without even consulting a salesperson. Also, as a result, these buyers want to deal with salespeople who they view as being thought leaders and who can add value, and this is a key, by propelling them beyond their current vision. In my view, this is an extraordinary shift, which actually makes it the most exciting time ever to be a salesperson. Pardon the theatrics, but shortly I'll show you how to align with these buyers and how to become what we call visionary sellers. So, let me take you through today's agenda. I'd like to give you a very brief introduction to Adventes and me, and then dive right into our model on how this population of B2B buyers buy. We'll show you how they differ from the traditional buyers and, importantly, the implications to your salespeople. We'll finish by reviewing what you need to do to succeed with these buyers. So, onward. I'm the founder and CEO of Adventes and also author of our best-selling book. And our objective is to help our clients create what we call a high-performance sales environment. We do that through two means. One is our holistic sales and sales management methodology, Adventes Methods, and the second is our comprehensive Salesforce-based app, the Adventes Sales Management System. So here's the model. Note that the y-axis defines the buyer's level of concern, while the x-axis represents time, and that's the time period representing the duration of the buy cycle. Also note that buyers buy in 5 stages. In stage 1, although the buyers recognize that they have an issue, at that point in time they don't work to resolve it. There are a number of reasons why this occurs, but that'll be the subject of another webinar. In stage 2, the buyers analyze their problem and develop the vision of a solution. Then, in stage 3, the buyers determine the return that they expect if they proceed and likely develop an implementation plan. The final major item for stage 3 is for buyers to have providers prove their capabilities. Now, in the past, this had occurred much earlier in the sales cycle. But with this population of buyers, they tend to wait until the end of the stage when they're actually ready to begin dealing with salespeople. Stage 4 is dominated by risk. If the buyer is confident that they have found a provider that will fulfill their vision and it meets their expectation for ROI, then they'll go forward. Finally, in stage 5, the buyer's attentions turn toward implementation. So, in the past, buyers needed sellers to help them better understand the pain they were experiencing, along with the solution they would need to solve it. Then, the seller proved they could deliver and then participated in creating the ROI. But, because today's buyers have tons of information readily available to them, many educate themselves to the point of completing the buy cycle through stage 3 without ever needing to speak to a seller. So let's now do a quick summary and then talk about what to do about it. In essence, we now have 2 populations of B2B buyers that our salespeople need to deal with, which in turn dictates the relationship buyers seek with sellers. we have buyers who look for salespeople to help them create the vision of a solution to a problem. And we have buyers who are beyond that and look for visionary salespeople to be able to help them boldly take their business beyond their current thinking and vision. And now, let's talk about the solution. Because buyers are looking for sellers who are thought leaders and who can add value, then we have to help our salespeople to become what we call visionary sellers. And you don't have to be born that way. You can become a visionary seller. To do that, you need to do two things. The first is to be able to literally propel your buyers beyond the visions they may have developed without you. And you can do that by creating and using a tool that will guide the conversation with that buyer. We happen to call the tool the Vision Value Tool. It's designed to help you show buyers, one, how you helped similar companies solve important business issues, and two, the payback that those similar companies were able to achieve. Third, your view of the issues likely impacting the buyer's company. Next, significantly, and this is especially where visionary selling comes into play, you should be able to discuss the capabilities you believe they need to, again, boldly go where their business has never gone before. Next, you should also be able to provide them with an anticipated payback should they go forward. And then finally, propose next steps to move the opportunity forward. Again, this tool helps the visionary seller guide the discussion with the buyer. For your hunter salespeople, it's proven to be a great way to open new doors. And if you have salespeople who are responsible for account penetration, they'll also find that it's a great way for them to significantly expand their presence across their accounts. The second is to practice social selling. How's this for some mind-blowing stats? IBM was able to increase their sales 400% by pursuing social selling. 62% of salespeople who don't use it miss their quotas. 78% of salespeople using social media perform better than their peers, and sellers who use social selling are 3 times as likely to achieve their quota. So if you're not doing it, you should be. So what is it? Well, HubSpot defines social selling as using social media to interact with your prospects and customers by providing value through offering thoughtful content and thoughtful answers to their questions. I love the thoughtful content idea. That is what will position you with both targeted buyers who do not know you and targeted buyers who do know you as a thought leader. We found that there's a 3-step process to follow to get launched, and it's quite simple, along with 7 more advanced techniques that you can then begin to follow. So that's it for today's webinar, but stay tuned for our upcoming webinar specifically focused on visionary selling and how to effectively sell to those 55% of buyers looking for a relationship with thought leaders who can add value. In that webinar, we'll focus on how to get meetings with your target buyers, how to conduct a visionary selling sales call, and then how to manage those sales cycles to successful conclusions. If you'd like to discuss this further, or if you think you need assistance helping your team to become visionary sellers, or even progressing with social selling, just let us know. Here's our contact information. Thanks for joining us today.